Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Learn. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe channel and click the bell icon to get the latest notification. So today's topic is purchasing power parity. And in this video, we'll be discussing about parity condition in international finance, purchasing power parity, Fischer effect, interest rate parity and also unbiased forward rate. Okay, so let's start the video. So parity condition in international finance. Okay, the word parity simply means equilibrium. Okay, so parity condition is like a benchmark or a break-even value in international finance. This parity condition rely heavily on arbitrage. So what is arbitrage? Arbitrage is when an investor makes profit out of simultaneous buying and selling of a same commodity in two different markets. Okay, so to know more about arbitrage, I have done a video on arbitrage, hedging and speculation. The link is given in the description box. Please check it out. Okay, so this parity condition rely heavily on arbitrage and it explains the determinants of foreign exchange rate. And this parity helps in forecasting long run of exchange rate, long run trend of exchange rate. Okay, so based on this PCM assumption, that is parity condition market assumption, the principal parity condition in international finance are classified into four. Okay, we can classify the parity condition into four. First one is purchasing power parity. And purchasing power parity is classified into two as absolute purchasing power parity and relative purchasing power parity. Then comes the Fischer effect. Fischer effect is also of two types, generalized FE and international FE. Okay. Then comes interest rate parity and finally unbiased forward rate. Okay. So we'll be studying each one of them one by one. So let's start with purchasing power parity. So what is the purchasing power parity? PPP theory states that the exchange rate between one currency and another is in equilibrium when their domestic purchasing power at the rate of exchange are equivalent. Okay, so we can understand this better with the help of an example. Okay, so here suppose we are assuming that $1 is equal to 10 euro. Okay, we are assuming that $1 is equal to 10 euros. So I am a customer and I want to buy a football. Okay, and one football cost $40 in America and 150 euro in Europe. Okay, so I am a customer and I want to buy a football and the football cost $40 in America and 150 euro if I buy from Europe. Okay, so we can say that the ball will cost $40 if I buy that ball from America and it only costs $15 if I buy that from Europe because $1 is equal to 10 euro. Okay, so if that ball costs 150 euro, then that means it costs $15, right? If the ball cost 150 euro, then it will be costing only $15 in America, in American currency. Okay, so it is more advantageous for me to buy the ball from Europe, isn't it? Because if I am buying that ball from Europe, I only have to pay $15. And if I am buying the same ball from America, then I will have to pay $40. So it is advantageous for the customer to buy that ball from Europe. And of course, the customer will take advantage of this. So in three ways, the customers will take advantage and three situation will be cost from this. Okay, so we can see the three conditions that are cost. First one is that in order to buy the football at $15, the US citizen will exchange their dollar to euro and then buy the ball at 150 euro. First thing. Second is that as people know that it is advantageous or profitable to buy balls from Europe, the demand of the ball produced in America will decrease, by which the price of the balls in America will also decrease. Third scenario is that when everybody goes and buy that football from Europe, obviously their demand of Europe balls are increasing, and when demand increases, price also increases. Okay, so there are three conditions that going to affect this scenario. First one is that in order to buy the football in euros, American or US citizen will exchange the dollar to euro to buy that ball in euros. Second is that as everyone is going and buying the football from Europe, the demand for football in US decreases, and when demand decreases, the price will also decrease. Third scenario is that everyone is going and buying football from Europe. Then what will happen? The demand for balls in Europe increases, and as the demand increase, the price will also increase. Okay, so the above factors will cause the exchange rate and prices of two countries to change such that we have a purchasing power parity. Okay, so now the situation is that in America the football cost is higher and in Europe the cost is lower. So in America the demand is decreasing and the price is also decreasing. Okay, decreased. And in Europe also the demand is increasing, so the price is also increasing. So the prices will change in such a way that it will become unequal, or like it will not be like perfectly equal, but in some way it will be equal. Okay, so that situation is known as purchasing power parity. Okay, the market will create a situation because of these changes. Okay, that is known as purchasing power parity. So suppose $1 now becomes 8 euros. Okay, $1 now becomes 8 euros, and the price of the football in US also come down from 40 to $30, and in Europe the price of the football goes up from 150 to 240 euros. Okay, so that means 240 euros we can divide it by 8, then we get what? We get 30. Okay, that means if we buy ball from America, then also it costs $30, and if we buy the ball from Europe, then also it will cost $30. So that is a situation of purchasing power parity. Okay, now is it clear to you all? So purchasing power parity theory states that the exchange rate between one currency and another is in equilibrium when the domestic purchasing power at the rate of exchange rate are equivalent. Okay, so first we took that a ball from America cost $40 and the same ball cost 150 euros in Europe. And we also said that in market condition $1 is equal to 10 euros. Okay, so it means that the ball cost $40 when we buy it from America, but only cost $15 when we buy from Europe. So what everyone does, every customer will go and buy the football from Europe and not America. And in that condition, what will happen is that first thing, the US citizen will exchange their dollar currency to euro currency to buy the football from Europe. Second thing is that as everyone is going and purchasing from Europe, the demand for ball in America decreases, and as the demand decreases, the price also decreases. Third condition is that every customer is going and buying the football from Europe. So the demand for football in Europe increases, and by which the price will also increase. Okay, so the above factors will cause the exchange rate and prices of the two countries to change such a way that it cause an equilibrium, and that equilibrium we call it as purchasing power parity. Okay, so in current scenario what happened is that in market rate become $1 is equal to 8 euro, and the price of US ball came down from 40 to $30, but the football price in Europe went up from 150 euros to 240 euros. That means when we convert it into same currency rate, that is we convert both the prices into dollars, it is like $30 from Europe and $30 from America. So in that case it is causing an equilibrium. So if we buy from Europe or if we buy from America, we have to pay the same price. Such a situation is caused because of this market change, and that situation is known as purchasing power parity, and I hope it's clear to you all. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic, that is absolute purchasing power parity. So what is absolute purchasing power parity? It is a static concept which states that the ratio of price level of two nations constitute their exchange rate. That is, a bundle of goods should cost the same in India and US once you take the exchange rate into account. Okay, for example, we can say if one can of Coca-Cola cost $2 in America, according to absolute power parity, purchasing power parity, it suggests that the can of Coca-Cola in any other country should cost $2 after you have converted it into US dollar into local currency. Okay, that is, for example, we can say uh, the Coca-Cola cost $2. Okay, $2. Wait 1 second. And we can say $1 is equal to 10 rupees. Okay, we are supposing $1 is equal to 10 rupees. And in America, the Coca-Cola can cost $2. That means in India, it should cost only 20 rupees. Okay, that is what is said in absolute purchasing power parity. That is, if we purchase a can of Coca-Cola at $2, then according to absolute purchasing power parity, suggests that the can of Coca-Cola in any other country should cost $2 after you have converted the USD into local currency. Okay, so if this does not hold true, then APPP suggests that the currency exchange rate will change over the time until the goods are equal value. That is, it states that if the Coca-Cola can is not $2 in India and in America, then eventually the market changes will make the price equal in both the countries. Okay, like we see that so in the case of the football, eventually the market will make the price equal. Okay, so this is a completely price level theory which only looks at the exact same basket of good in each country with no other factors included. So what is the peculiarity of absolute purchasing power parity is that we are saving the same product. That is, we are taking Coca-Cola, we are taking two countries, that is America and India, and we are not seeing any other factors like inflation or exchange rate or anything else. We are not seeing any other factor. We are only focusing on the price of the good, and we are saying that the goods of the two countries are same. Okay, so that is, it is known as absolute purchasing power parity. The theory ignored the existence of inflation and consumer spending as well as transportation cost, tariff, export-import cost and other short-term exchange rate. Okay, so in absolute purchasing power parity, only the price of the product is viewed and no other external factors are viewed. Okay, so that is absolute purchasing power parity. Then what is relative purchasing power parity? Relative purchasing power parity also states the same as absolute purchasing parity. The only difference is that in relative purchasing parity, not only price is taken, but factors like transportation cost, export-import cost, tariff, inflation rate, all these are taken into account. Okay, so that is the difference between relative purchasing power parity and absolute purchasing power parity. In absolute purchase power parity, we only take into consideration the price of the product, but in relative purchasing power parity, we take into consideration inflation rate, tariff, export-import cost, transportation cost, inflation, all other such factors plus the price of the product. Okay, so relative purchasing power parity is an extension of absolute purchasing power parity. While it maintains that the value of same good in different countries should equal out over time, but it suggests that there is a correlation between price inflation and currency exchange rate. The theory suggests that the inflation will reduce the real purchasing power of a currency. So in order to properly adjust the purchasing power parity, inflation must be taken into account. Okay. For example, if UK had an annual inflation of 5%, then 1 unit of pound sterling would be able to purchase 5% less per year. Okay, that is, for example, if Indian economy has faced an inflation or is facing an inflation of 2% increase, then it means that the price of the product is increasing by 2%, so we'll be only able to buy 2% less product in that year. Okay, is that clear? Suppose in UK it has an inflation of 2% and in Brazil it has an inflation of 5%. It means that in 1 year the price of a basket of good in Brazil is increased by 5%, while the same basket of good in UK will only increase at 2%. Is that clear? I will explain once more. That is, suppose we are buying a football. Okay, we can take the example of a football itself. In UK, there is an inflation and price increased at a rate of 2%. Okay, so the price of the football will also increase by 2%. In Brazil, the inflation is 5%. Then the cost of football in Brazil will increase at a 5%. Okay, so the same product having the same price, but due to inflation rate, the price changes at two different levels. That is, the football is increasing, the price is increasing only 2% because the inflation rate in US is only 2%. Brazil, the same football is costing 5% more because the inflation rate is 5%. So the same product, the same basket of goods in UK and in Brazil will have different rate because of this inflation. So relative purchasing power parity states that the price as well as the inflation and exchange rate will affect the price of the same type of commodity in two different countries. So that is about relative purchasing power parity. I hope it's clear to you all. If you have any doubt, please you can comment it down and I will be taking doubt. Okay. So next we can move on to the next topic, that is Fischer effect. So what is a Fischer effect? This one is a generalized Fischer effect. Okay. So in generalized Fischer effect, it states that it is an economic theory created by the economist Irving Fischer that describes the relationship between inflation and both real and nominal interest rate. Okay. So it is an economic hypothesis stating that the real interest rate is equal to nominal rate minus expected rate of inflation. Okay, that is, the real interest rate we are having, the real interest rate we are paying is equal to nominal interest rate minus the rate of inflation. Okay, for example, if the nominal interest rate on saving account is 4% and expected rate of inflation is 3%, then the money in saving account is really growing at 1%. Okay, the smaller the real interest rate, the longer it will take the savings deposit to grow substantially when observed from a purchasing power perspective. Okay, so Fischer effect states that the real interest rate is equal to nominal rate minus expected rate of inflation. And this theory was given by Irving Fischer. Okay, now we can say the next one is international Fischer exchange. So now we learned this generalized Fischer effect. Now we can see what is meant by international Fischer effect. Okay, so the international Fischer effect, that is IFE, is an exchange rate model that extends the standard of Fischer effect and is used in forex trading analysis. Okay, so this Fischer effect concept is used in trading derivatives and analyzing the value of this derivative. Then it is known as international Fischer effect. Okay, it is based on the present and future risk-free nominal interest rate rather than pure inflation, and it is used to predict and understand the present and future spot currency price movement. For this model to work in its purest form, it is assumed that the risk-free aspects of capital must be allowed to free float between nations that comprise a particular currency pair. Okay, so in international Fischer effect, we are not only considering the inflation rate, but also we are considering the current rate of the product and the future rate of the product. Okay, that is, we are fixing the spot currency, present currency movement and the spot currency movement. Okay, that is international Fischer exchange. Okay, Fischer effect. So next topic is interest rate parity. Now we can see what is interest rate parity. So it is a theory according to which the interest rate differential between two countries is equal to the differential between forward exchange rate and spot exchange rate. Okay. So this interest rate parity play an essential role in foreign exchange market, connecting the interest rate, spot exchange rate and foreign exchange rate. So how we are calculating this interest rate parity? FO is equal to SO into 1 plus IC divided by 1 plus IB. So here the FO is the forward rate, SO is spot rate, IE is interest rate in country C and IB is interest rate in country. Okay, so we are comparing two interest rate of two countries. Okay, with the spot rate and we'll be getting the forward rate. That is how we are calculating the interest rate parity. So main questions, there are, we can say the interest rate parity is of two types: covered interest rate parity and uncovered interest rate parity. So this is a common question seen everywhere, that is what is the difference between covered and uncovered interest rate parity. So the interest rate parity is said to be covered when no arbitrage condition would be satisfied through the use of forward contract in attempt to hedge against foreign exchange risk. And conversely, the interest rate parity is uncovered when no arbitrage condition would be satisfied without the use of forward contract to hedge against foreign exchange risk. So if we are using the forward contract, then it is covered IRP, and if we are not using forward contract, then it is known as uncovered IRP. So what is a foreign exchange risk? Foreign exchange rate or risk for currency are exchange rate at future point in time as opposed on spot exchange rate, which are the current rate. Okay, so that is about interest rate parity. Next one is the last topic is unbiased forward rate. So unbiased forward rate states that the forward rate is an unbiased predictor of the expected spot rate because the action of market participant make the end period forward rate be equal to the expected future spot rate. Okay, so this is an equilibrium condition under the unbiased forward rate theory, where market action will ensure that the end period forward rate is an unbiased predicator of the expected spot rate n days hence. So there is an equal probability that the end period forward rate will be either higher or lower than the expected spot rate n days later. Okay, that is, here we are predicting a future price. Okay, suppose I am predicting that the gold rate will be much higher in after 3 months. Okay, then that is known as a forward rate. Okay, I am predicting a forward rate. So there is an equal probability that the end period forward rate will be either higher or lower than the expected spot rate. That is, I am expecting a spot rate and the end period forward rate will be either higher than the spot rate or lower than the spot rate. So such a situation or a hypothesis is known as unbiased forward rate. Okay, so that's it. So we discussed mainly what is meant by purchasing power parity. We also discussed the interest rate power parity, unbiased forward rate, and also we discussed about the Fischer effect. Okay, so purchasing power parity, this in simple way we can say that parity is when there is an equilibrium. Okay, that is, we are creating an equilibrium or the market itself is creating an equilibrium. In that case, that is known as a parity. Okay, so that's all for today. So if you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up and also share this channel to all commerce students you know. And if you have any doubt, please comment it down and I will be taking it. And if you have not subscribed to Let's Learn, please subscribe to Let's Learn and click the bell icon to get the latest notification. Okay, so for more commerce video, keep watching Let's Learn. Thank you.